What is up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday. If you are live with us, then hop in the chat and say hello. And if you are watching this after it's live, then comment down below and tell me where you're from and where you're watching and what's up with you. I love to see who my community is and who my lovely people are. So good morning and welcome to Mornings with Katie. This is a show all about content creators and how to support you, how to maximize your creativity, your energy, all of those awesome things. This is really a space for all creators, but we talk a lot about YouTube and a lot about how amazing this platform is because honestly, I haven't found a platform like it. So we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about how, you know what, for those of you who are YouTubers, which a lot of you who follow me are, and that's because that's where my passion is. I love YouTube. I'm on fire for YouTube. So today we're talking all about how, you know what, you're not just a YouTuber and kind of talking, like getting into that about like what a creator really is. And we're going to be giving you 5 things to really consider. And these are things that oftentimes YouTubers who are walking into this platform aren't thinking about. We're going to talk about those and how you can be proactive and mindful of these things to have like real success on this platform and real success as a creator, not getting burned out and really having success on your journey. So with all that being said, we cannot get into business without me asking you what are you drinking this morning? I'm drinking coffee. I was like 1 minute late because of my coffee, but it was worth it. And so I drink a very diluted cup of coffee in the morning, and I only drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning because if I drink more, I'm going to be crazy. Okay, so let's do this. Yum. So we just got finished with a challenge over in my group, a 5-day content consistency challenge for YouTube. And I am so excited because it's just reiterating, it's emphasizing the power of this platform and the ability to the ability to create amazing things, to have a voice, to share absolute value to your tribe, to really get intentional and narrowed into your people and not all the people. And those are some of the things we're going to be talking about. But the reality is an amazing platform. And so when I walked into YouTube, I had a lot of stereotypical thoughts about YouTube and YouTubers, more importantly. And I also had a lot of stereotypical views of how much work it took to be a YouTuber and more importantly, to be a content creator in general. Because what you learn on YouTube, what you learn on this platform will carry through to your business. It will carry through to your website SEO. It will carry through to social media. Like 100%, how you show up on this platform is how you show up on all your platforms. I'm not saying you have to be on all platforms. I'm saying what you learn here is like evergreen learning and education that will carry through to other places. If I hadn't started YouTube, then I would not have started my business. I would not be doing shows. I would not be doing coaching. I would not be doing YouTube programs. Like I just would not be doing this stuff because it just would not have even been in my toolbox to even think about doing these things. And I would never imagine being the person I am now if I had not started YouTube. That being said, YouTube is not everything. And this platform is amazing, but it is just a platform. It's a tool to share your content. And so oftentimes when we walk into YouTube or we're looking at YouTubers or we've been doing it for a while, we get stuck on this word YouTuber as if this defines who we are as people and as creators. But the reality is you are not just a YouTuber. You are a creator, and you are a creator in every aspect of your life. If you show up and work hard and love creating content on YouTube, it's probably because you are a creative person in every aspect of your life. Think about it. I know for me, I've always been a creator, an artist, a musician. I love sound engineering. I love 3D mapping. I love like weird stuff. But all of it has to do with creating something, using tools to create something unique and beautiful and fun. I love taking miscellaneous things and creating awesome things out of it. And I'm always testing and always growing and always playing with things. And if you're that type of person, then you are perfect for YouTube if you haven't tried this platform already. But the reality is we get stuck on these terms. And I remember when I first walked into YouTube, some of my stereotypes, like my stereotypical thoughts were, well, that's not a real job. it doesn't take that much time, right? Like they're just talking on YouTube, right? Like how do they do this stuff? Can you really make money on YouTube? Question mark. Like some of these things were real questions and real objections that I had for starting a YouTube channel, which is why it took me 2 years to start. But the reality is, once I started, I realized, oh my goodness, this is really smart. And if you play your cards right, if you are intentional about giving value and then building amazing backends, building amazing income into your life from these channels, you can make so much money, stable money, consistent money from these platforms. And it's absolutely incredible and absolutely exciting to look at the potential of YouTube. But when you are creating YouTube content, you are indeed not a YouTuber, you're a creator. And I think like I've really shifted from calling myself a YouTuber to calling myself a content creator. It's a little bit more vague, but the reality is I'm not just a YouTuber. I have a business. I am a sister. I'm a friend. I create and support all over the place, not just on YouTube. And it's a part of who I am, but it's not who I am. And so here are 5 things to keep track of. Here are 5 things to be mindful of. I want to be super real with you. This is real talk, right? I want to be super, super mindful of making sure you understand what goes on in content creation online, but also what are some things to be proactive about and what are some tips and tricks. And we'll get into tips and tricks in another video, but I'm going to hint at some of these things to support you well in this video. So the first thing we're looking at is time. So a lot of us walk into it thinking it's not going to be a lot of work, or just the opposite. We walk into it thinking it's going to be so much work and it's not attainable. And when I first started creating content, it took me so much time. Oh my goodness, so many stories. It took me so much time. So my favorite story is my very first video that I was creating. I was like, okay, so I'm going to create this video and I'm going to upload it and it's going to be fun. And it's going to be fun. It took me 4.5 hours to film it. And then I woke up the next day and didn't even like it, scrapped it, took another whole day to film it, and then another whole day to edit it. And then I took some parts out and redid it. Like, I'm telling you, actually, to be super honest with you, my first video on YouTube never even made it to YouTube. In fact, I just recently published it as a celebration for hitting like 100 subscribers or something. That wasn't recently. I guess that was several months ago. Anyway, the point is like I just released it. It never made it to YouTube because I was so stuck on perfection that I was spending so much time in my content, in my video, wanting it to be something that it wasn't and wanting it to be, equal to the expectations I had for it. And it took me so much time. It took me so much time and so much energy to create something that it just didn't meet my expectations, and my expectations for myself were too high when I just needed to start. So the reality is when you start YouTube, it's going to take a decent amount of time to get out of your head. And that is by far the first thing. I have a YouTube program, and it's the first thing we look at. We look at, okay, how do we get you out of your head about this? How do we just start creating and not worrying about the comments and not worrying about the likes and not worrying about the subscribes? Just create content, which is the very reason why I spent like the whole week with my beautiful creators in my space, because I want to make sure that they are feeling challenged and motivated to create consistently. So when you are in a space where you feel intimidated or scared because of other people showing up and being better than you are, you're going to be stuck on perfectionism. And perfectionism is the enemy of action. Perfectionism is the enemy of action. You will not take action if you're so stuck in your head that you want it to be perfect, because guess what? It won't be perfect. And so the time discussion really comes from, okay, how stuck in your head are you? Because now I'm coming back to YouTube and I'm going to be putting up a ton of content. So I'm so excited that you're here. And if you haven't subscribed already, you need to, because this is just an amazing, amazing platform. And I share all about it. And really, like, really like the main, like the essence of me and who I am on this space is creating like sharing the power of YouTube and how you get to unlock that just that creator inside of you to really be successful on YouTube. I mean, that's really the essence of what I love and what I feel passionate about sharing, because that was my journey and that was how I had to figure stuff out. But when we're looking at time, it would take me, if I was filming and editing a normal video, it would probably take me 2 days, sometimes more than that, depending on what my schedule is for the rest of my life. Sometimes it would take me 2 days to edit. I mean, to like create, edit, and upload, produce. And it's a lot. It was a lot of work, but it doesn't need to be that much work because now I create videos within like an hour max. So I just do a new process that I've created that works really well and streamlines the process. It takes away the editing. You don't have to be an editor to do it the way I do it. And I teach all about that in my program. But the thing is, like, here's the thing. Your time is valuable, and you have to look at your time as valuable. So when you're starting to create content online, it's going to feel like it takes a lot of time. It doesn't need to take a lot of time. It doesn't need to take a lot of time. You're going to move forward and make progress and be successful in the space that you're in. And the beauty of that is you get to grow through this platform and people get to see that growth, and it's super, super exciting. So time is the first thing. The second thing is having variety. It's something that oftentimes content creators don't think about. My personality, I have to have variety. It's one of the reasons why even a platform like YouTube can get mundane, not because it needs to be that way, but because I just think, oh, well, this thing is working, so I'm just going to keep on doing the same thing. But the reality is a lot of us cannot do the same thing over and over again. And so we get to create content when we feel the energy and when we feel creative. And then we get to streamline that process and add variety into a process that really, truly works. So there's kind of a balance between variety and stability. There needs to be both of those things when you are creating content on YouTube. The third thing is accountability. And this one is so very important. If you do not have accountability, you will not make it. I say that, and that probably sounds super harsh, but here's the reality. I did YouTube for my first year, I did YouTube for about 7 months. And I was not feeling challenged. And so then I started doing daily vlogging, and it killed me. It was an amazing experience, but it killed me. And then I said, okay, like this, there's got to be something more than this. And so then I started my business feeling like I had to take a break from YouTube, even though they're both kind of the same thing. And I train the same things and they're totally connected. So now I'm moving into it again. But the reality is, once I had accountability, and I wish I had accountability in the beginning of being a YouTube creator. And if I knew how much time I would save by having accountability and coaching, oh my goodness. It doesn't matter what price tag's on that. If you can save time by avoiding the mistakes, growing at a faster pace, and learning so very much in a smaller amount of time, you are going to be so on fire about YouTube. You'll never turn back. You'll 100% see that momentum and just keep on going. And so now, like, that momentum is 100% there because I'm building and growing at a very, very fast rate. So accountability is huge because you need to have people that are smarter than you in your space. You need to have people who are pushing you forward, who are your peers who are pushing you forward. So you need to have, this is why, like, the coaching mindset works so well, because, like, I'm a coach, but I'm coached. I have a coach, and she is insanely smart, and it will take me a bit to catch up to her because she's amazing. But, like, the reality is I have people in my group that get to push me forward, and I get to push forward, but then I have someone who's smarter than me. I have many people who are smarter than me. And this model works great because then you're learning and you're growing, but you're also having accountability and support by people who are jumping through the same hoops you are. So accountability is huge in the content creation world, and it's very, very unpopular because a lot of us are moving away from education. We're moving away from the idea of traditional education. And so oftentimes we can throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, well, I'm just not going to educate myself. I'm just going to do this by myself. But the problem with that is that if you are teaching yourself, then you have to know the answers before you actually, like, you have to know the answers to your questions, which means what's the point of asking the question, right? So the reality is, like, when I'm YouTubing something, when I'm like Googling something or searching something on YouTube, I have to kind of already know what I'm looking for. And if I don't know what I'm looking for, if I hit that wall, then I'm stuck. And unless I have people in my life that are smarter than me, I'm not going to make it through. I'm not going to keep on being able to experiment and push through. So accountability is absolutely necessary and something that honestly always slips up. It's something that always gets missed, and it's so very important. It's so very important. Okay, so we've talked about time, variety, accountability. Number 4 is collaboration. This is probably one of the most beautiful aspects of YouTube because we all get to collaborate. I have collaborated with some absolutely incredible, insane YouTubers and content creators, which just warms my heart. And you get to do this on and off YouTube. So I've done a lot of it off YouTube because I do it in shows and conferences that I have that I offer to the amazing creators who come. But the reality is you can do interviews, collaborations of sorts. You can do tutorials with people. You can do skits with people. You can do comedy, whatever with people. You can do whatever you want with people. But here's the thing, when you take the time and you take the leadership, when you put in the work to reach out to someone and say, hey, I want to give you value and I want to connect with you, then it's so powerful. It's so powerful. And it's so exciting to see that happen. So I remember the first time this happened for me, and it was, I'm sad to say it was like 4 months into creating content on YouTube, and I was feeling so lonely and just so sad. And I reached out to my favorite YouTuber ever. And I said, hey, you may not ever see this and whatever. I said, but I just feel like I'm struggling on YouTube, and I just feel like I need people. I need coaching. I need stuff. Like I just feel really, really like I'm isolated. And he was so amazing and said, hey, I have this group. You should come join. I joined and I met amazing people. I did collaborations for several months with people. And I continue to do collaborations and to support that group. And now that's branched me out to, like interviewing Benji Travis and talking to Philip Van Dusen and talking to like Amanda Horvath and like amazing, amazing content creators who I hope you know who they are. And if you don't, you get to go find them and reach out to them and say, hey, like, love your content. Show up in their DMs, like be supportive, because that's how you learn to collaborate. That's how you learn to make connections and relationships. And that's what makes YouTube, and really just in general, that's what makes being an entrepreneur so valuable, but also so hard, because you have to jump in and take action before the other person does. You have to jump in and take responsibility for what you want before the other person does. So time, variety, accountability, collaboration. Number 5, and finally, is creativity. Obviously, this seems like a duh, right? Of course, like I have creativity. That's why I'm on YouTube. But you're not always going to feel like it. You're not always going to feel creative. And there's going to be times when you just don't feel it. Guys, there are times when I just don't feel it. Honestly, I have like this, like every 2 weeks or so, I'll just be like, and I'm not feeling it. So I have to anticipate the times when I'm not as creative, and I get to create and maximize when I'm on fire and I've got the energy and the momentum and the creativity. I've got to maximize that time, which is why we do something that's called batching. We batch our content, which means we film multiple videos in a day or in a week. And then we schedule those out and we create content from that. You don't have to do that, but it's an amazing tool if you seem to have like highs and lows in the creativity world, in the creativity department. If you're struggling with those things, then it's good to batch. It's good to learn the processes that work. you are you are the CEO of your own business, and you get to decide how you want to do it. There are principles of business, there are principles of YouTube, there are principles of success and monetization and reach, all of these amazing tools that we have, but the reality is you get to choose what your layout and your system looks like. You get to choose what you want your videos to look like. You are your own person, you have your own personality, you have your own likes and dislikes, your own struggles and strengths. You get to create whatever you want. And so when we talk about time and variety and accountability and a collaboration and creativity, we're talking about like these are things that tend to come into our space and get us a little bit overwhelmed, but the massive takeaway from this is that once you have people around you and you start having people in your space that are smarter than you, once you start doing this and being really intentional about doing this, the other things fall into place. Once I had people around me, once I had a coach and I had accountability, I suddenly realized, oh my goodness, wow. Suddenly I'm being really smart about my time. And suddenly I'm realizing I can maximize that. Suddenly I'm realizing all of these things. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is absolutely amazing. How in the world did I not land this before? So it's absolutely huge and it's so very important. And I wish I had had it when I was starting out on YouTube. And because of that, I want to make sure that you actually know where to go, because you're probably walking away from this video and you're like, but now what do I do? Because there's really not a ton of YouTube programs out there. But I have a YouTube program, which sounds so like blah. But the reality is like the whole premise behind my program is not, you know, like do it yourself pace. That does not work. I enrolled in one of the highest level YouTube programs out there, and it was a self-taught program. And I don't think I even got past module 5 because I just like if I didn't have support and accountability and I didn't have people in that space that I could be with, then the reality is I wouldn't do it. And looking back, that had a lot to do with my leadership. That had a lot to do with me not reaching out to people. But when you're starting out, that's not in Southern, when you're starting out on creating, when you're starting out in YouTube, you need people to hold your hand and build that momentum and push you forward. And so that's really the essence of what I offer. And it's awesome. And it's just coming out and it's brand new. It's been a compilation of several years of content creation and experience. It's been a journey because of some of the highest level YouTubers in the world, getting to talk to them and getting to interview them. Like it's been this space that is needed and is necessary and is something that will support you 100%, because I believe so strongly in this program. And honestly, if I was just starting out on YouTube, or if I had been creating for a couple months, I would have been like, no brainer. Absolutely. So I'm going to drop that link down in the description. You can go click that. It's called the Creator Club and it's super exciting. So Creators Club is this amazing, amazing space where not only do you get like all the benefits of actual like one-on-one training and accountability, but you also get a space where other people are doing the journey with you. It's like the best of both worlds of the one-on-one coaching and the group coaching. And it's growing. It's absolutely an amazing, amazing space. And it's super exciting to see people just like grow and get inspired. So if it's something you're interested in, then go click that link and you can learn more from that. And we can set up a call and have a good time and get to know each other and make sure that you're a good fit. But it's definitely a space to go check out. And it's really going to be a lot of fun. So if you are needing support on YouTube, then do not leave this video without commenting down below and telling me what is your biggest thing with all of like the 5 that we talked about: time, having that variety, accountability, collaboration, creativity. What is your biggest struggle walking into YouTube, or just even in general right now creating content online? What is your biggest thing? Is it time? Is it variety? Is it accountability? Is it collaboration? Is it creativity? We do all of these things in my program. And honestly, I just want to hear from you. Like, even if you are like, I don't want to do your program, guys, like just comment down below and let me know where you're at so that I can support you with the content that is best suited and helpful for you. So that's really the point. So I hope you have an awesome day. We went a little bit long, although I suppose it's like 25 minutes. I hope you have an absolutely awesome day. Thank you so much for sticking around. Like this, subscribe, do all the things. If you're not subscribed, oh my goodness, you need to subscribe because there's a lot of content that's coming and a lot of content that's already there. So I love Mornings with Katie. Not myself, but I just love the show because I get to hang out with you guys. That sounded conceited. I hope you all have an awesome Saturday. Go get amazing things done and just start creating. Just start. The reality is if you don't start, you will not get where you want to be. It takes action. So just start today and get it done. Love you all, in full support of what you are doing. Have an awesome day, and I will see you all later.